People don't have business problems. They have personal problems that are reflected in their business. And the reverse statement is also correct. People don't succeed in business. They have personal success that reflects in their business. So in my experience, there really are two kinds of personal problems that show up as business problems: personal challenges and personal constraints. Some like to believe a distinctive barrier separates our personal and professional lives. If you step back and take an honest look at your experiences and those of others you've worked with, I'm sure you will agree that's clearly not the case. It's common, in fact, for people to carry their personal baggage through the front door of a business, unpack and spread across the workplace. Welcome to Summit Scale, where entrepreneurial business leaders come to learn how to grow their small businesses into mid-sized companies. So let's look at this notion of personal challenges. When there's balance, contentment, purpose, success and happiness in life outside business, the attitudes and behaviors people bring to work are different than when this is not their reality. Business owners and everyone else in leadership roles exert the largest effect, positive or negative, in the workplace. And team members look to these individuals for direction and guidance. So when a business owner or leader is lost in personal challenges or unable to separate them from their job, the entire team will be affected to some degree. Noticeable gloom can easily overcome a team or even an entire business. Relationship issues, parenting challenges, and extended family matters constitute common occurrences in the lives of everyone. And these real issues often weigh heavily on the hearts and minds of those affected. And when not managed effectively, they can have a negative and even lasting effects on attitude, morale, performance, and ultimately business operations. Compound this with such additional circumstances as financial troubles, health problems, lack of purpose and fulfillment, and the despair that often accompanies them, then you have a recipe for disaster through dysfunctional behaviours. Who you are at work directly affects the team members, customers, and bottom line in profound ways. As a business coach, I've witnessed top performers lose all sense of direction and focus due to mounting personal issues and their inability to deal with them in a constructive way. Personal life challenges belong solely to the person having them, not everyone at work, and certainly not to customers of the business. People often believe they should just pull themselves together, and because getting assistance with life challenges constitutes a sign of weakness. But this is often a difficult, lonely, and often unsuccessful route. If you find yourself challenged to take back your life on your own, there's no shame in that. If your ability to function at a high level and be successful and happy is compromised by issues in your personal life, get the assistance you need. Seeking out the professional help of a qualified professional or coach to get yourself and your life in balance and on track constitutes a very wise choice. And it's amazing what can be accomplished with simple changes in perspective, increased awareness, goal setting, and accountability supplied through an unbiased support of a competent coach. That way you can bring your best, not your baggage, to work. So if that's personal challenges, what are personal constraints? Well, overcoming personal constraints comes from the revolutionary book, The Flip Side by Flip Flippen. At the heart of this concept is the powerful notion that our strengths alone do not determine personal or business success. No matter how talented or gifted a person is, it's his or her behavior that will largely define their level of performance or reasons for failure. To live fully, people will have to learn to curtail our behavioral weaknesses and maximize our strength. But if we only focus on our strengths, we will fail to deal with those behaviors that need changing. And personal constraints come in many different forms. Most are behavioral, and of course there are physical or intellectual constraints that are so distracting that it comes in conflict with everything else you may be trying to get ahead on in life. But personal constraints are the things that hold you back. And Flippen has identified 10 top killer constraints. Here's a couple of examples. being bulletproof or overconfident. Self-confidence is generally a good thing, but overconfidence is not. And overconfidence can blind you to reality and keep you from seeing what is truly happening to you and those around you. Another is icebergs or low nurturing. These are people who feel little connectivity or warmth towards people. They generally don't feel the need to concern themselves with the feelings or well-being of others. And they can be distant, demanding parents or tough, detached bosses. And these constraints set limits on where and how far you can ultimately go. No matter how talented, skillful, or gifted you are, you will not be able to rise above the limits that define who you are. If you ignore them, you'll be giving them the power to limit you. But if you choose to confront them, identify them, and work at conquering them, you will dramatically increase your chances of achieving real success. And the impact of personal constraints is especially interesting in business. This is because no organization can ever hope to rise above its constraints if the individual constraints of the leader are not addressed first. So if you want to rise above what is really holding you back, find yourself a coach and get to work on dealing with your personal constraints. I'm Shane Spears of Summit Scale. See you next time.